Have you learned drum and canoe carving?
Me personally, I see that coming on the horizon, but it hasn't happened yet. My focus and my intention is much more so into the healing and keeping the tradition alive. There's only 2 of us right now who are authorized by the elders to teach, or actually which includes the elder, the surviving elder right now.
Now, when I was on the island of Hawaii, there was a lot of resentment towards Americans, and probably not people who follow your sacred path. Can you say a little bit about that, and how your healing art or tradition deals with that prejudice?
Yeah, it's an earned prejudice. There's no question about that. As one of my dear friends on the islands would say, he said that when the missionaries came to Hawaii, they watched us pray and watched us celebrate with our gods, and they decided that we weren't doing it right. And so they taught us that in order to pray correctly, we needed to put our hands together and we needed to close our eyes. And so we did. We put our hands together, we closed our eyes, offered the prayer in the way they suggested, and then when we opened our eyes, our land was gone. So there's a lot of reason why the prejudice is there, and then there's also the disrespect that's come from many traditions that come in who use a few Hawaiian words, use a few Hawaiian concepts, and then call themselves ancient Hawaiian traditions, even though they were born last week. So it's so there's a lot of reasons for that.
Well, and I understand it's like Native Americans who've been land taken away from their culture. Taken away, so I can understand that. Yeah.
But one of the things that this does for us is that the elders of Hawaii believe that you don't just dismiss somebody. You look to see who they are. And so for me, in my stepping into the position of being a teacher, not being of Hawaiian blood, I get watched particularly in a particularly strong way. But it's not so much me that they're watching my students. Because if my students know how to act, and they know how to do what to do, and they know how to step on the earth correctly, then clearly I know what I'm doing. But if they don't, I've got a problem.
And do you have students in Hawaii right now?
We are going next week. We've got a group who are going for another training next week.
And how often do you go to Hawaii?
It depends from year to year, but we spend anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months a year on the islands.
Yeah. Now, I know you have a website, and I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the products you brought, like Inner Space Meditations. You want to say a few words about this one?
The Inner Space Meditations is a set of internal meditations that Connie and I wrote and recorded.
Are these based on the Hawaiian tradition?
Everything that I do has a Hawaiian coloring to it, because that's just who and what I am, and to remove that wouldn't be appropriate. But these are about going inside. So a lot of meditations are about going out and expanding and losing yourself. This is about going inward and finding the truth of who you are inside.
And how often do you recommend one of your students meditate?
Once or twice a day.
And any particular length of time?
Meditation is something that the best meditation is the one that you do once or twice a day. But if you can do, you start off 10 minutes if that's what you can do, or 20 minutes if that's what you can do. And then over the course of time, that expands into what you feel is your correct rhythm.
Now, do you teach any type of mantra, or do you teach any type of particular method to clear space, or just take the time to meditate?
Yeah, each person has their own way of moving in the world. So my job is to see how that person moves and teach them how to do it. When, like just today, this afternoon, I was teaching a class of 8 people, and each one of those was a separate class, because each person moves and lives and exists in a different way, and they have a different job in the world. So what I'll do in the classes is I'll teach them what they need to know in terms of how they should function.
And so you're really teaching 8 different meditations.
8 different sets of information will be heard, even though it's one 4-day class.
Now, and it's like 8 hours a day for 4 days?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and the students just local, or they come from out of town to study with you?
Yeah, we've had people come from I think 49 of the 50 states and from 16 different foreign countries.
Well, that's quite an honor and a turnout for you.
It's been a great honor to have the ability to impact people that way.
And where do you see your personal path going next?
Well, the organization, Keala Kahiko, is my responsibility. That's something that I really believe is important, because there is only myself and my teacher who are the surviving of the lineage. We're working very, very hard together to try and keep this alive and to try and get as many people to know this information and to keep the information preserved, so that as the right people step up, where we both want to go eventually is, it's not, well, we do want to be able to teach anybody who's got a real interest in it. What we really want to do is get this back to the Hawaiian people, because, again, when some of the laws came in, the traditions were outlawed, and so they were lost, and except for those who brought it underground.
Who outlawed the traditions?
The missionaries and the businessmen who came to Hawaii who were afraid of the Hawaiians. A really good example of this is one of my teachers, Kahulana Kila, was at a place in his life where he was very, very ill, and it was so severe that they finally had to bring him to the hospital. And so he was laying in the bed, and his sister was there. The doctor came into the room, and he says, I really don't care what you choose to do with him, because this man is dying. He said, you take him home, leave him here, take him to Queens Hospital in Honolulu, whatever you want to do, but just we need to just keep him comfortable. So he called his sister over, mustered up as much strength as he could. He says, call my teacher and have her come. And she wasn't allowed into the hospital because they knew she was a kahuna, because she knew that she could do these types of healing things. So she stood outside his window, did the diagnostic through the window, and said, take him to my house. We need to work with him now. So
did he survive?
He did survive. And it was a point in his life. That was the time when he restored his commitment to the old ways and decided that that was who and what he had to be.
Now, Rick, we've got 2 minutes left. I know we didn't cover everything you wanted. Just use some of that time to just give the audience some more information. Absolutely.
The thing about Hawaii is that it's not only about going in and doing healing. It's a way of life, and so there's the option of being able to go and be trained in the old ways and learn this very narrow path of how to be in the world. But there's also very, very practical information that's available for the general public. So so I've got a program that I'm teaching now. In fact, I'll be teaching it in Hawaii and Molokai and Maui in the next couple of weeks. But it's called The Essence of Aloha. And the idea of this class is that it helps people to understand that, again, aloha isn't just the word love. Love has so many different dimensions to it, and it's about finding your place in the world. And so that's what this class is how do you understand the emotions? You know, a New Age concept, a very popular concept, is let's get rid of all anger, let's get rid of all worry. Well, worry and anger are a part of aloha. That if we don't have the ability to have the courage to stand up and say no, to have the ability to tap into anger, to say no, we're jello, but that strength that comes up to be the counterpart to love.
Well, this world would be a better place if there was more aloha spirit.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to leave it there. For more information about Rick, his organization, Infinity Foundation, or Rick's class, stay tuned to the credits at the end. Until next time, we wish you good health, good spirits, and good fortune.
For more information about this show, our guests, Infinity Foundation, or any of our other programs, please visit our website, infinityfoundation.org, or call us at 847-831-8828.